Welcome back to another Minetest mod review. Today we are looking at the Chest2 mod. So here you can see we have the Chest2 chest, and here we have the obviously standard wooden chests from default. As we're all well aware, the standard chest is 32 slots, 4 high, 8 wide. The Chest2 chest is a little bit bigger than that. It's what, 5 high and 12 wide? And before we get too far into things, let's take a quick look at the craft recipe. So as you can probably guess, it's quite a bit more expensive than making a standard wooden chest. So you'll need 4 diamond blocks and 4 gold blocks to get a single chest. And that's really all you need. But if you want a remote access to your chest, you can make a remote, which is going to take obviously 2 diamond blocks and 5 gold blocks. And this remote is actually quite useful. So we will go over that in a moment. So let's take another look at the chest here. So we have options. We can make this a public chest, which I don't know if I have to hit save on this. I think you only have to hit save when you have it set to members and you put members into the access list. So when we have it set to a public, okay, so it still says single player, so there's no way to know, I guess, from looking at the info text if it's publicly accessible or not. But if it's public, as you can well imagine, that means the contents can be accessed by anyone, only you. I'm not really sure why they chose the letter U, but whatever, it doesn't matter. That's obviously just the player who placed it, or you, because you would be the only one that can open it, so you're the only one that could see the button that says only you. And then you have members. And this is where the save button comes in. So you have a member list. So in this case, this specific chest is only accessible by me, myself, and I. And no, I'm not just talking about myself personally. I'm talking about the players, me, myself, and I. And had I, spent a lot of extra time, I would have been running this as a server, and I would have 3 other instances of Minetest running, one with a player name of me, one with a player name of myself, one with a player name of I, just to be funny, but I didn't bother with all that. But here you would put in the names of the people you want to have access to it. So if you have, a shared space with some friends or siblings or clan members or whatever you want to, people that would have access to your stuff, but not everybody would have access to, here is where you would put all their names, single name per line. Don't do, comma at the names and put them all in one line. It is 1 name per line. That's what the instructions say to do. I don't know what happens if you do something other than that, but I can only imagine it doesn't work. So you should probably do it the way it tells you to do it. Just saying. So the remote. Let's take a look at the remote. To start with, you are going to punch the remote. There we go. Punch the remote, or punch the chest with the remote. So holding the remote in your hand, punch the chest you want it to run to. It'll only work on the Chest2 chests. So if I had several of them, I could have this remote go to a single one of them. And then anytime you use this chest or the remote elsewhere, so I'll just run over here and I thought I just seen an apple. I'll punch this mushroom. Punch the mushroom with remote, and I open up my chest. And I can evidently, let's, does the remote actually not let you take stuff out of the chest? What's the point of that then? Interesting. Oh, did I not mention? It has multiple pages. I'm confused. So I can see what's in the chest, but I can't take it out. Why would I want that? Okay, that's weird. What's the point? I don't get it. Why would I? Wait, what? You know what? I bet this is an anti-cheat thing happening right now. So I bet what's happening is that the engine is saying, hey, the player is too far away from this node's inventory to be able to interact with the inventory. Because like at this point, you know, I can't reach that chest physically. So I think that's what's happening. I'm guessing that's probably not intentional. The idea probably is that you can access the inventory from anywhere with the remote. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. We can see here, if you try to break the chest with things in it, it doesn't break. And let's talk about the pages some more. So, what was this again? 5 by 12, right? So you have 60 inventory slots, and I have it configured with 3 pages. So some quick math would tell us 60 times 3 is 180. I have 2 pieces of gold in there. Silly me. So you can store 180 stacks of items in this chest with this configuration. Now I should mention, talking about configurations, there are some configuration options. You can pull them up in single player by just going to settings, all settings, and then search chest. Otherwise, you can do it in the Minetest conf file as well. I want to say the configuration options are if the remote is, if it gets loaded, exists, I guess, if it's available. So you can make it so there's no remote. You can configure whether or not the chest is craftable. So you could make it that you can't craft the chest, which I don't really know what the point of that would be, because if you can't craft it, how can you use it? And then finally, you can configure the number of pages. So I have the configuration there set to 3. It says that if you set it to more, or higher numbers equal the potential for more lag. So I don't know. Let's actually just take a quick look at that though. So we'll just search chest, and we have max pages, whether the craft for the chest would be available and the craft for the remote. So I guess you could always make these where you have to just give them, or they're available to purchase or something, or you define a craft recipe for them in another mod. Oh, you know what? I might have to place a new one. Okay, well, that's not an issue. I think I remember the craft recipe. It was a little something like this. There we go. Okay. We have 10 pages. That's 600 stacks, right? Pretty sure that's 600 stacks. Because we needed 600 stacks available. I mean, hey man, you could, if you really wanted, you could make like a stop motion animation thing this way. I would never recommend it, but you could. You've got 10 pages that you can cycle through by clicking the arrow. So, you know, I could have set it up as like a caterpillar working its way across the grid. As it is, this makes for a very poor animated feature, but if you wanted to, you could do that. You can also reset your remote, so the remote is now connected to that chest, and then you can just punch this one again and connect the remote to that, and you'll see it gives you a little chat message saying what you're connected to. So it gives you coordinates. You can't rename the chests, which I feel like could be a nice addition to this. The ability to set a name for the chests. So when you point at it, you know, you could have a name and say, hey, this chest of 600 stacks is going to hold meese. And I'm going to fill it up with, oh wait, I'm thinking of a different series. Never mind. But I could see that being a nice addition. This does work, I believe, with one of the mine clones and Minetest game. I don't know which mine clone specifically, because there's like 6 different ones right now. But optional dependencies for it would seem to indicate that at least one of them is compatible. I don't know how compatible the different games are with each other, so maybe it's compatible with more. I don't know. I guess that's kind of up to you to find out for yourself if you are using a Mineclone game. But yeah, that is the mod. So relatively new. We could still see some more. I mean, not to say that old mods can never introduce new features, but I'm just saying it's a relatively new mod, so there could still be more planned things that just haven't made their way down through the lines yet. But that is the Chest2 mod. If you want to download it, head on over to my website. I will have all the links there as always. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week for another mod review, and I will see you then.